In this section, we will talk about action buttons. Buttons are the clickable widgets that perform some activity when clicked. Basically, there is a function which is triggered every time the button is clicked. There are four types of buttons. Normal button, that is one we see on the application. Then the radio button, check button, and the menu button. We will discuss about all of them in detail. First is button. So buttons are the clickable widgets that trigger a function every time they are clicked. So in this image, these are the buttons at the bottom of this application window. There are three buttons. One is submit, clear, and exit. So if user will click on the exit button, then the application will be closed. Followed by, if you will click on the clear button, all the entries in the application will be cleared. And the submit button will perform some major action. This is my VS Code editor, and I am going to show you how we can create a button. So I have already written a basic template to create an application. So first of all, in order to create a button, you have to write button with capital B. And then you have to provide the container window, that is the parent window or child window. So in my case, it is WS, which is the parent window. And then the text that you want to display next on the button. So let's give it a sample button. You can provide a font by using font equals to name of the font, size of the font. And then you have to provide a command. So command by default is none. So whatever function name you will provide over here, that function will be triggered every time the button will be clicked. So you can either provide a lambda function or a normal function. So lambda function are generally one-liners. So let me show you how we can create a lambda function. So let's say if I want to create a button that will exit the program, then I can simply say lambda ws, which is the name of the window, dot destroy, and then I will pack this button. You can use any geometry manager. Now here you can see that there is a button on the screen and it has a font, and the moment I will click on the button, the application will be closed. Okay, I'm sorry, because I forgot to add bracket open close in the end of this function. Now if I will click on the button, the application is closed. So this was the basic command to create a button. There are a couple of more options that you can go ahead and apply on this. We have provided the entire list in the PDF associated with this video. So let me go ahead and show you a few more things that you can do with the button. First thing, we can assign a variable to this. So let's say btn is the short form for the button, and I will do the same thing for the pack manager as well. So now also it will work in the same way. It's just we have assigned a variable to it, and using this variable we can perform. You can add image to this. Adding image can be in the form of you can add a bitmap image, or you can just add a normal image. So bitmap image is basically an icon. So let me show you how you can do that. So you need to type bitmap equals to, and then now there are a couple of options like error, gray 75, gray 50, gray 25, 12, hourglass. So those that name you just need to mention over here. We have mentioned all of them in the PDF. So I'll just type hourglass, run it. Now you can see that there is an hourglass in place of the button. If I click on this one, it will perform the same activity. So it will close the application. Also guys, the command I have shown you one-liner. You can also do the same thing using our normal function. So let me go ahead and create a function over here. F close app, and then same thing. And now I will call this function over here with the name close app. Now if I run it, it will close again. So this is the two ways that in which you can create a function. Now if you want to provide a normal image to this button, you can simply go ahead and type image. After typing image, you have to provide a name of the variable in which you have stored that image. So we have to create that as well. So for that, I'll just write a variable with the name img, and then photo image and the file path. So whatever the path of the image, you need to provide that entire path over here with the image name and extension. So in my case, it is a PNG image, and I have placed it inside the same directory where I am working right now. So I just need to type the name play_button dot extension. So in this way I have read the image. We will talk more about the image thing in the image section. So for now I'm just telling you how you can do that for the button. And now I will just simply type ing over here. Save the program, run it. Also guys, you need to remove the bitmap so that the image will appear. Now you can see that it is quite big image, but it will appear like this. Also, if you want to remove this white space from here, that thing also can be done. You just need to remove the border width. So set the border width to 0. Also, you need to provide the same background color as you have provided to the window. So in my case, it is #456. So BG equals to. Now you can see that the extra part of the button has been removed. So in this way you can add the image on the button. Another important option is state. So state can be either normal, active or disabled. So what does the state does? Like let's say if you have a application wherein you want the user to accept the terms and conditions, after that he will be able to click on that button. So what you can do, you can set the state of the button to disable, and the moment the user clicks on that check button, then the button will be enabled or set to the normal state. So that thing you can do using the state. So here I will just type normal. Right now it is normal, by default it is normal. So I can change it to disabled. Now the moment I have clicked, change it to the disabled one. Now any activity on the button won't be performed. You won't be able to click, you won't be able to get focus on it, nothing will happen on it. Whereas there is another option which is active. Now the button is active. You can also set it to the normal one. So normally it is normal, and always set it to the normal until unless it is required to set it on the active. If you want to increase the size of the button, that thing also can be done, but before we can do that, I just need to remove the image, and I have also removed the bitmap so that we can see the text over here. To increase the height, I will use height option, which is height equals to, let's give it 5, and to increase the width, I'll use width equals to, let's give it 20. So this is how we can increase the size of the button. Apart from that, you can also add padding to it. So let's remove height and width so that we can see the padding. Pad X will add extra space horizontally, whereas pad Y will add extra space vertically. So here is the padding has been added. If I can add little more so that we can see it properly. So let's make it 20. Now you can see the padding has been added in both the directions. So in this way we can use the button widget. So the application that we have shown you in the presentation, let me show you how we can do that. So this was the application I am talking about. So here is the code for this application. In the end, I will explain the entire code, but for now, let me explain you the part of a button. For now, let me explain you the role of button over here. So in this code, we have created these two functions. One is enable button, and another one is display out. So display out is basically displaying the information whatever the user has filled in. So, and the enable button is whenever the like in this image, you can see that until and unless user won't click on this check button, he won't be able to click on the submit button. So that is what it is doing over here. So check button is there. The moment check button is clicked, we are setting the configuration for button as normal. So let me show you the coding for button what we have done over here. Here it is. So these three are the buttons. So here WS is the container, and this is sub button is the variable name. Text is submit. Font is F, which we have declared on the top. It's a Times New Roman with 14 size. And this is the command that is being, this is the function that is being called every time the button is clicked. And the VG color is background color, FG color is the foreground color, the text color. Width is 8. Currently the state of button is disabled, and the moment the user clicks on that checkbox, it is set to the enabled. And disabled background color is black. And we are using a place geometry manager over here. So let me run this application. Now here you can see I am trying to click on the button, but it is not working. The moment I will click on this checkbox, now the button is active and I will click on it, it's working. Now let me do it once again. I'll just remove the checkbox from here. Now the button is in a disabled state, so it is not working now. I'm trying to click it. So with this we have learned how to use a button. Our next widget is radio button. So with this we have covered about the button. Our next widget is radio button. So radio button is basically, it is used to provide multiple options to the user, and user has to make a single selection out of the multiple options. So in this image you can see that the gender, there are 3 options for the gender available: male, female and others. User has to select one out of these, and user has selected male over here. That's why there is a black dot over here. So let's go ahead and learn how we can use this. Let's go ahead and learn how we can create this. So here I am using the same template that I have used for the button. So in order to create a radio button, first of all you have to write radio button with capital R, and then the container, which is WS, the text that you want to display next to the radio button. Next is value. So before explaining you value, let me show you what is the use of it. So let me comment it for now, and let me pack it. And in order to show you the difference, let me go ahead and create few more radio buttons. Now you can see that all the radio buttons are selected because they are working as an individually, and I'm trying to click on it, they are not deselecting. So what the value will do, it will group all of them like as a single entity. So if the user has selected male over here, rest all of them will be deselected automatically. So let's go ahead and do that. And also a value goes hand in hand with the variable thing. So let's say you have provided value as 1, then you have to define a variable to it. So variable will be, let me define it. It can be a string, it can be an integer, anything that you want, but it should be same for the value. So let's say, so in this case, since we have provided an integer value to the value, so we will create an integer variable. Now I will do the same thing for all of them, but this time I will provide different value to this radio button. Otherwise, if I will provide 1 to it, then they both will become same, and every time user will click on the one of them, then both will be selected automatically. I will show you that as well. So let's give it 3 over here as well. Variable will be same for all of these. Now you can see that none of them is selected automatically, and the moment I have clicked on male, only male is selected. If I click on female, the male radio button will be deselected and the female one will be selected. Same thing happened with others. But if I will provide the same value to 2 of the radio buttons, let's give it a 2 as well. Now if I will select male, then it is okay, but the moment I will click on female, the others will be selected automatically. And same thing will happen if I will click on others, then female will be selected automatically. So that is why we have to provide different value over here. Apart from that, the value is important because now when we are going to fetch information from this thing, then let me go ahead and show you that. So var, since we have assigned a variable to it, now we can use this variable. I will create a function that will display whatever radio button that we have selected. Now var dot get function is used to fetch the information from the radio button. So if I'll just print it, now if the moment I will click on, let me increase the size of the terminal so that you can see that. Now the moment I will select any of the radio button, the value associated with it will be displayed. So you can see that. Okay, I'm sorry because we have not called this function. So once we have created the function, we have to use the command option to call this function. So the name of the function was So I have called the function in all the radio buttons over here. Okay, sorry, yes, this should be the name of the function, which is list radio. Now let's run the application. Now the moment I will select the radio button, the same number, the value associated with it will be displayed on the terminal. So let's say I have selected mail, and the value that we have provided to the mail is 1, that's why it is displaying 1 over here. Then email is for 2 and others is, okay, so other is not displaying because I think I have not assigned a function to it. So let's go ahead and do that. So in this way, this value can be used to target anything. Let's say if the mail is selected, then this information will be sent to the other part of the program. Other than that, you can also provide a string value to this thing. So let's say if I want to provide a value as a string, then I need to change it from int var to string var. So this is how we can do that, string var. And now I can change this value to female or okay, male. Now if I will run this application again, okay, now since female is selected, that's why it is showing female, and since male is selected, that's why it is displaying male over here, and other is selected, that's why it is displaying other over here. Other than that, you must have noticed that all the radio buttons were selected initially. That was because we have not assigned any default radio button over here. So in order to do that, we can use the set function, which is var.set, and then the name of the value. So let's say I want to set it to female. So every time the application will be run, by default female will be selected. So this is how you can work with this radio button. In our application that we have created, we have used it. Let me show you how we have used it over here. So here you can see that we have put it inside a frame with the name G frame, that will be the gender frame, and gender frame is the container over here. Then the text is male, value is male, variable is gender var, and gender var is defined on the top with a string variable over here, and the default is set to male over here. So that's how we have created a radio button in our application. So in this way we have learned how to create this radio button in this application. So our next topic is check button.